fight weight.
Show that fight weight. How are you going to do that? How are you going to call someone out? You're not even at the weight.
Jeff said he thinks he can take it.
I can take it.
I can take it. I don't know. Real quick. I don't care. She can knock me out.
Okay, she can take me on it. Oops.
That's Dynasty Wise. Brought to you by Gorilla Grease. If you're going to have a beard, you better grease it. Yeah.
As far as my quarterbacks go, I got Breeze. And I know that's an easy pick.
Just hate to cut you off, Jeff. Just so our viewers know, the first one was cut off. We should be rolling live now. We had a transmission error. Should be able to catch it on the second one.
I need to do my intro again.
No, we're okay.
Okay. Thank you, Grizzly Grease. It's here, Dynasty. Saturday, Wednesday, blah, blah, blah. Oh, okay. I'm going Breeze because the other team, both their best quarterbacks hurt, and then like their number 3 quarterbacks hurt. And then I'm going Watson because Deshaun Watson versus Patriots, it was like 78 to 54. Right? It was a high scoring game, so I'm going with them. Let's go to you, Joe. Who do you got?
I'm going to go with Kirk Cousins. I like the team he's got over there. I like the matchup they have. And another one I'm going to say is Matt Stafford. I feel like they've got Kerryon Johnson over there, that they're going to try and establish some kind of run game. And if not, Matt Stafford's still going to do what Matt Stafford does without the run.
Right. I agree on all of those quarterbacks. I actually hope that will be good. I got him going a couple of games this week. But I'm going to throw in Cam Newton going against Dallas.
I think Cam Newton's going to get some rushing and throw the ball, dump off screen passes. I think he's going to have a really productive day against the Dallas Cowboys. So that's who I would start at quarterback. Cousins, Newton. Maybe an honorable mention would be Jared Goff against the Raiders. I like what he's got with his weapons over there.
Okay.
So I got Big Ben going. Browns defense is looking pretty strong this year, but I'm going to say Big Ben's going to go off because Le'Veon Bell's out, and his receiving corps should pick up the slack and make a difference for them. And I also got Carr going for Oakland.
No start?
Yeah, I got a few names. First off, once again, I'll agree with you, Joe. The Saints, I think that defense is really good and bad matchup. Someone who I want to sit Mahomes.
Okay.
The Chargers, I think they're really good defensively. Even with Bosa out, they still are going to have a Casey Hayward, a Derwin James, and a very productive secondary. And I just think Mahomes is going to throw a few interceptions. And Eli versus Jacksonville, that's not a favorable matchup either. So I'd probably sit him. And then, although I think he's going to have a good year, I don't like Derek Carr's matchup versus the Rams. Peters, Talib. That's just a stacked defense over there. Aaron Donald on the line. They're just all over the place. So I think, I would maybe start Carr, but I'm definitely sitting Mahomes and Eli.
Well, we're going to watch that because he's choosing Carr to start. You're saying avoid. So, folks, if Carr is a good game, you don't want to listen to this guy. You want to listen to this guy.
There will be a bet off air.
There will be a bet off air.
I do like Carr. It's just I think it's a
Right.
tough matchup, and we don't really know what he's bringing to the table this year, but tough week 1 matchup.
Definitely. All right, let's move on to running backs. Joe, why don't you start us off with the guys you say start, and if you got any don't start, give us those too.
Go on green.
I'm going to go ahead and go with Alex Collins right off the bat. He has no real competition in the backfield for his position. Last year he's shown he can take the workload, and this year shouldn't be any different. He's going to be relied on a lot. I feel like he's going to be finding the end zone a lot more this season than last year, and last year he couldn't. I'm also going to go with Melvin Gordon to start. I see him, that whole matchup I like.
Right.
Not only that, it's his year. It's his year.
Melvin.
He's gonna be a top 5 this year. I'm saying it.
Yeah, I like Melvin Gordon as well. He's really good. Like I said, I think Alex Collins. I had picked him up. I've traded him away now, unfortunately, because you were selling me on Alex Collins all off season, and I was buying in. The more I was doing my research, buying trading him, so those are solid. But at running back, I'm gonna throw Jordan Howard in. I think Chicago upsets Green Bay, if you want to call. I think they're gonna win that game Sunday night. Jordan Howard has been a top 10 fantasy running back back-to-back years. And I like Dalvin Cook. And like I said, I like Royce Freeman against Seattle. I just like what he showed, and I'm going to roll with those 3 running backs.
I had a quick question on Dalvin Cook. It came in on a private message. Y'all, I know we answered it before, but Dalvin Cook, how do y'all think he's going to recover from that, or from the injury and all that? Think he's going to come back and fly?
I have it. He got injured early in the season. Was that week 3, week 4? I think he's ready to go and 100% going to pick up where he left off before he got injured.
All right, I didn't mean to cut it off there. It was just a question that came in.
No, it's cool.
I did want to create a little controversy, though.
Let's do it.
I feel like Cohean's going to outproduce Howard week 1.
What?
Matt Nagy in the offseason really likes what he's seen from him. Not only is he the special team stud, but Matt Nagy wants to implement him more into the offense. I see Howard going to be out there and maybe Cohean at the same time at a slot, maybe taking some receptions or something. But I feel like he's going to continue to progress and get more points.
You're saying for the game or overall year?
Just that week 1, I'm going to say Cohean beats him week 1. Howard. But my avoid, though, is Jamal Williams.
Boo.
I don't like that matchup against the Bears. I'm really excited to see that Bears defense, and I don't see him really going off.
I understand that, and unfortunately, in one league, I have no choice but to start Jamal Williams because of a bunch of stuff going on. But yeah, couldn't agree more. Void, I'm actually not buying into the James Conner hype. I think he's a very good running back, of course, but Cleveland was 7th against the run last year. And I think they're going to be just as good, if not better. They're better in the secondary. I actually kind of have them pulling the upset week 1 as well. I got Cleveland beating Pittsburgh. And I just think James Conner, everybody's like, well, he's going to get fed without Le'Veon Bell. It's cool. He might get it a bunch of times. I just don't think it's going to translate to a lot, and they're going to end up passing the ball a lot more. So I would avoid him. This is going to ruffle some feathers, but I'm a bold statement. I don't own him, so I guess it's easier for me to say. Saquon Barkley against the Jaguars. He's nursing that. He nursed that quad or soft tissue injury all offseason and preseason. And that Jaguars defense, Eli's not that good. I mean, yeah, they got some receiving weapons, but Jacksonville can play the pass well. And I think I'm going to sit Saquon Barkley.
I agree. I feel like they're going to stack the box at first and force Eli to throw, and I think it's going to be a frustrating night for Giants fans.
So first off, I'm going to disagree. I'm going to tell you that Saquon Barkley is going to go off, and hopefully he makes the Giants team this year, because Eli is definitely not a weapon for them, and Saquon is. At Penn State, his last 2 seasons, he had over 2,000 rushing yards. I fully expect him to be a running back 5 this year and help the Giants at least have a 500 season.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'd tell you Leonard Fournette. He didn't play all season because he wasn't healthy, but he did get over 1,000 yards in 7 games. I would tell you to watch out for Fournette. If he's healthy throughout the season, he should be a 2,000-yard rusher.
Weak ankles.
I would also tell you this week to start James White for New England. They don't have a whole lot of weapons at New England right now other than Brady and some of their receivers, and about 20+% of Brady's passes do go to his running backs, plus he is a big red zone threat.
One thing about Barkley, yeah, he had those rushing yards, but if you pull up him versus he did a lot more of his damage against weaker opponents, and I don't know. I'm not saying he is a freak athlete and everything, but I think you're going against top-notch athletes and players now every day, and he's going to have a lot to prove. And whenever he had, I think, the most carries or whatever it was, getting stopped at the line or for negative yards. First one, he didn't do a lot versus a Rashad Penny, although different. I think Rashad Penny was better in that aspect. Their stats will back it up. But it's Saquon, whatever, or Baquan, whatever you want to call him. So
Well, you got to look
Just
at
my
this.
take.
In college, he had one of the worst offensive lines. Now he goes to a decent offensive line that just added Solder and then draft that big beast Hernandez
Yeah.
at guard. And, Hernandez getting in fights every day. This guy does not like you, if you're on the other team. So I can see both points.
Yeah.
They might want to, like what Joe said, they're playing the Jags, right?
Yes,
sir.
I kind of like taking all three of y'all's states. I kind of like what Joe said. Like, they're going to stack that line and let's let Eli,
try and beat
all
us.
right, Eli beat us because you're not going to get a run game going. So,
And they got the DBs to go out there and
Ramsey's already had his take.
OBJ.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ramsey. We know how he feels about Eli.
Right. All right, but for my running backs, David Johnson's kind of an obvious. They're going to rely on him, I think, until Kirk and can come up. Fitzgerald's awesome, but I think they'll slowly become an offense later. I believe in the Connor. Anytime he's ran well. The Pittsburgh line is good. They believe in him. They were upset with Le'Veon Bell. You had two offensive linemen come out and say, I understand the business, but now it's game time. You should come in, which is something Earl Thomas did. He yelled out, and he was like, all right, I'm coming.
Yeah.
So
On that same
Yes, sir.
point, though, on Connor, don't be surprised if he doesn't do well that you don't see Jalen Samuels.
Okay, keep that name in mind. My third is probably my most risky take. It's Lamar Miller. New England doesn't have a great defense, a dominating defense, and Lamar Miller's going to get the bulk of the carries for the Texans. He's also he's a three-down back, so he can catch the ball out of the backfield. So if you got him on your team, he could be a 2 RB, probably definitely a flex.
Question coming in.
Okay.
We got one to start Lamar Miller. They've got him on their team. The question then there is Dante Foreman. Is in the future, in the next, obviously he made the pup list, so the next 6 weeks he's out. But would y'all think he's going to take over the role, or is he going to be split back? It's just a general question. I want to ask y'all.
Well, I would say, with the 6 weeks that Achilles, it's hard. Everybody thinks he's going to take over, but we don't know until he comes back and starts playing. And Jeff, I almost actually had Lamar Miller on my list to start.
Yeah.
I actually think he's going to have a good game because he's going to get the carries and split him wide, and he's going to catch the ball.
I've liked the way, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I've liked the way he's ran in preseason. It's like he's young
lighter.
again.
He says he's
Yes.
lighter.
And his legs never stop moving. You see guys get hit,
Yeah.
and they fall down. They get hit from J.J. Watt.
That was him last season.
He gets hit, and his legs his little leg just keep on going.
Yep.
So I'm sorry to cut you off.
I think Lamar Miller is definitely a start this week. Like you said, the Patriots aren't a solid defense. It's week one, and the game depends so much on how good your quarterback is, and Deshaun Watson just opens it up so much more for every other player. And like you said, you still got DeAndre Hopkins. Yeah, Will Fuller might miss.
Will Fuller is questionable, folks.
Keep an eye on that.
Yes, sir. Keep your eye on the injury report, especially Sunday.
But Bruce Ellington, Sammy Coates, and Lamar Miller, and then Deshaun Watson himself passing the ball and his ability to extend plays and run the ball. So I think he's a great start this week, personally.
All right, cool. Do you have any takes on Dante Foreman? No?
No,
Okay.
sir.
Far as I'm concerned, because the Texans field is considered one of the worst fields.
Yeah.
Field turfs, and you've seen was it Edelman or Wes Welker that one year?
Yeah.
That's what happened to Clowning. Clown just I said I stepped in a little rut, and that's what did it. D'Amico Ryans blew his Achilles out when he was with the Texans, and then his last game he blew his Achilles out when he was on the Eagles. So, and he was suing the Texans because of the fields. I just lost my career. So,
I heard they're making improvements to it.
They need to.
Or they were supposed to because of all these laws, whatever's going on. 'Cause
Yeah.
I think there's other lower level
other
guys
players.
that have gotten injured, and they
Right.
do the injury settlement or whatever. And soon, how we don't know all that, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, definitely. But I like Dante Foreman. He reminds me of Earl Campbell. I'm not saying he is Earl Campbell,
He said it.
but he's 6'1", 235, ran 4.46, something like that. I know those are combine takes, but
2,000 yards in colleges last year. I
Right.
mean, the dude can play.
Yeah, so
An
I'm-
unfortunate injury.
Yes.
if you got room to stash him on your IR or you got room to stash him on your bench, keep him because his upside is really great.
High ceiling.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I couldn't think of the word. I was up there, But all right, my running backs, and I'll end it with Melvin Gordon. I think the receivers they have, there might be a distraction. Of course, Melvin Gordon's good, so I really don't have to go in deep with Melvin Gordon. So let's move on to wide receivers, and we will go back to you, Joe, to start us off for wide receivers.
I'm gonna go with the obvious D-Hop. You have to. If he can continue that 6.5 game span that him and DW4 are on a tear, then it's going to be beast. And if he doesn't, then he's still going to be a beast. His numbers barely go down, no matter who's throwing to him, unless it was Brock Osweiler. But I digress. I'm going to say for this week you can start AB and Juju big time because I think they're going to get, without Le'Veon Bell, they're going to be seeing a lot more targets. But watch the weather report because apparently there's going to be a lot of rain. So if that happens, it might be a bad call.
Right. Wide receiver, I like me some Brandon Cooks. The Rams versus Oakland, a lot of weapons, but Brandon Cooks produces. He's had, over 1,000 yards every year except his rookie year. And, he had 3 touchdowns his rookie year. Every year after that, it's been 9, 8, and 7. So, like I said, he's going to be good for a little over 1,000 yards, 6 to 9 touchdowns. And he's a starter. I think he's going to go off. And this one is maybe for, your bigger team leagues or what you got going on, not obvious. I'm starting Mike Williams. He's healthy because I like the, Rivers matchup as well, going against Kansas City in their weak defense. And I think Mike Williams and Phillip Rivers, that's going to give you some good fantasy points this week.
I had a question come in with they were with the Juju and Antonio Brown. Mm-hmm. The question was, I'll go to you, Joe, since that's what you stated. Do you feel like if it is going to rain, they're going to go to James Conner more and keep it on the ground?
They might have to force it, depending on how much rain's coming down. I don't really want to see Big Ben forcing passes, especially if they're shutting down Conner. Then the defenses may be expecting it.
Okay, cool.
I can see a defensive struggle, especially with the rain, a division game. Browns always play the Steelers stuff, whether they're 0-16 or whatever.
Thanks for the question, guys. Keep them coming. Back to y'all.
So for me, I got Mike Evans starting for Tampa Bay. The dude's a beast. He needs to work on his touchdown receptions, but other than that, he kills the double teams, and he always gets the ball out of the air if it comes his way, and he's the number 1 receiver for Tampa Bay. Other than that, I'd tell you Devontae Adams for Green Bay. With Jordy being out, I think Devontae is going to see a lot more time, and Aaron Rodgers is going to pick on him a little more. But also with my third, I'm going to tell you Randall Cobb on top of that, because with Jordy being gone, you're going to see Cobb being a strong number 2 for them. Yeah. And that's a hell of a matchup right there, man. If you could actually have both those guys on your team, other than sacrificing the fact that the bye week you lose them, man, you want to talk about throw up some mad fantasy points.
Yeah, I got Cobb going in another league, so I like that one. A lot of people said the same thing about Devontae Adams, as you were saying about being the new number 1 with Aaron Rodgers, this and that, which it could be. And they're probably they don't run the ball a lot in Green Bay. They just don't. Aaron Rodgers likes to throw it, so I could see both good picks, and I hope Cobb comes through for me.
Well, for my last one, he's obviously not playing, but I got a question to pose, for the public and for y'all. So I'm going to say Des Bryant. So he's still holding out. He's still a free agent. We all know he's talked to some teams. We all know he's turned some offers down. So at this point, is that somebody you hold on to as a pocket keeper because you think he might get signed and produce towards the end of the season and give you some extra points? Or do you go ahead and drop him and try and pick somebody up to hopefully give you a little more range in your wide receiver core?
If you have the roster spot and you're not hurting at receivers, definitely stash him. Right. I know a few teams are going to be Des Bryant's going to be signed by week 12. He's going to. There's going to be injuries that happen throughout the season. Things are going to develop. He's going to have a team. But Patriots right now are kind of lacking at receiver, and they have the money. And Bill Belichick, he doesn't take the shit. So if something happens with Bryant, he could just cut him like he does everybody else.
Yeah, I think that's intriguing. They've been trying to match the Patriots to Des Bryant for a while. I think it could happen. I just think they might wait a couple weeks. Maybe not till week 12, just maybe 3 or 4, once he realizes they do need help in New England. But, yeah, like Joe said, if you got the roster space, of course, hold on to him. And also, if he's probably maybe your 5th wide receiver if you are holding on to him. So really, if you're dropping him, who are you really picking up that's going to give you the production that you're necessarily looking for? That person might be a hold until later on as well. So I mean, like I said, I'd kind of just wait it out. Especially if you're a fan of Dez or if there's nothing else out there. But yeah, if you got the roster space, it's not a bad idea. Me personally, I'd probably be finding me a rookie or somebody to stash long term because a dynasty league, format redraft might be tough to have a roster spot for Dez.
Dez should just go follow in his father's footsteps and become a pimp. That's what I say.
Dez, if you're listening.
That's always a possibility.
All right.
Pimping ain't easy.
All right, my receivers, I also chose Devontae Adams.
Weak.
Michael Thomas, again, there are 4 defensive backs out on Tampa Bay. 2 of them are, the big-time guys. So that's why I teams up with Breeze and going them. I got Keenan Allen. I think he just produces. It's the scare factor of him getting injured, but he played all last year. You can't predict injuries. You wouldn't start anybody. And then my 4th one is going to go along with Joe. I'm going to start Golden Tate with Stafford throwing to him. I think Golden Tate can pick up some numbers there.
Speaking of, Stafford and Golden Tate, Kerryon Johnson, I think he could be a sneaky flex this week. And I actually have him in a league, so I'm actually debating.
They're going to test him. For Matt Stafford, he's lacking that run game.
Leave me alone. I'm baiting.
My worry about him is they got Blount over there.
Mm-hmm.
And he might get goal line carries because it's so big.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
That's his usual MO.
Pass, I think out of the backfield, catching the ball.
And running,
That's
yeah.
what I'm saying. I think, it just depends on your team. And, we have, 3 flexes in this league, and it's a pretty, 12 teams, so it's a lot. You know what I mean? Lot to start. That's why the only reason. And my options are, when Bell going down, kind of changed a lot of things.
I don't think it's a bad start because he'll if you got PPR.
Yeah.
And,
I think it's 1 point.
Yeah, and he might, he's getting catches, and then he's getting yards running and receiving. So, he can easily put up, give you 60 yards and then, say, three more points for catching. You don't know. He might get the ball at the end zone because he's a rookie. It's like, hey, let's get the rookie his first touchdown.
Yeah.
So, I don't
breaks
think
a long one on a catch or screen or something, hopefully. That's what we can hope for.
Right? He's the second coming of Barry for Detroit.
Might be a little early for that.
Not happening.
I've got a void wide receiver for everyone. He's known on Twitter as the best wide receiver in the game. I'm gonna say Sammy Watkins over there. I don't like Kansas City matchup against the Chargers. Their whole secondary is pretty beast. They're shut down. Not only that, you got a rookie quarterback who's going to be throwing to you against a good defense. I just don't see him doing much throughout the season.
Joe, you got to stop making good points because I've been trying to argue with you all day and I can't because you're like, oh, Sammy Watkins. I don't like Sammy Watkins at all. I know producer Pat and Jeff, they love them some Sammy Watkins.
Shut your mouth.
We're not talking about that.
Cut his mic off now.
But yeah, definitely sit him.
Sit him every day. The dude's how does he get paid?
Cut him off your
because
team.
he shows up when he needs to.
Well, what? I support the players now because these dumbass owners like, hey, Sammy Watkins, let's give him $40 billion a year, money. Why?
I don't know if I want to live in a world where
Sammy Watkins getting paid.
Where Sammy Watkins is employed and Des Bryant isn't.
They both suck.
They do. But still.
They both should be out there pimping.
They could start an escort service together.
They should. Yeah, but the only problem is Des could only drive 3 ways because he only knew 3 routes, and the car would break down with Sammy Watkins driving it. So. But it'd be a nice car.
That's a good avoid.
Yeah, Sammy Watkins avoid every week.
Yes.
I don't. Who's the Dallas receiver? You just want to avoid that whole receiving him. Carolina's
Hearns, Cole.
Gallup. That's what I'm saying. Are you starting any of them? Tough Carolina defense. maybe flex a Beasley because the Prescott loves him some Cole,
Yeah, he's like the security blanket.
especially with no Witten. So, I mean,
Question coming in.
Question coming in.
Hot off the press. Which Rams receiver is going to receive the most action this week?
Either one of you?
man, that's tough because I don't know if you mean by targets because I think Cooks might not get as many targets, but I think he can produce more with the less targets because of his speed. The slants going the distance. But I think Cooks will be the most productive Rams receiver overall all year long. So that's a Cooks.
Have to agree.
Cooper Kupp's always a good start because again he's that safety blanket. You know, I mean, the guy just gets open. He's smart. He's intelligent. He's got enough speed to do what he's got to do.
Yeah.
He knows the routes. He reads the defense as well. So Cooks definitely has the more high value to do something. But I'm gonna go with Kupp at this game. Although I didn't start him on my team.
I like them both.
Yeah.
Honestly, I like Kupp a lot, but with the adding of Cooks, I just see some of his targets diminishing.
Still got Robert Woods over there.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think it's not just going to – I think they're going to have a lot more wide receiver screens and stuff set up for Brandon Cooks. His speed, they wanted it for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And I start Cooks. I think that's a must-start this week personally.
I like to pick up a Cooks for what you said. It's speed. It's going to keep the defense. All right, you're going to put Amen and Bot stop Gurley.
Okay.
You know, all right. Well, Cooks is going to be one-on-one. And if the one safety goes over, well, Kupp's going to be open intermediate route across the middle. So
Woods is still a burner out there too. So, I mean.
Woods is solid, like maybe not fantasy, but in football terms.
That's what I'm saying. He'll open it up. Them other two are taking the top off the
Yeah.
defense. So, I mean, damn, they're stacked over there in L.A., though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
Damn tough
Both
team.
sides of the field.
Right.
That's true. So, all right, there are no more questions. Nobody else has any more takes. We're going to move on to tight ends. And, Joe, why don't you start us off on tight ends? If you got who you going to start, and if there's someone to avoid, tell us that too.
You were saying safety blanket. I'm going to say Jimmy G is going to be finding George Kittle as his red zone safety blanket. I see Kittle going to be going off. Maybe not yards, maybe not a lot of targets, but I see him getting a lot of touchdowns throughout the season. And then I'm going to say Trey Burton. I see Trubisky. He's already got a slew of weapons coming in. He's got a run game in both Howard and Coheen. It's time to see what he has, and I feel like not only will Anthony Miller see a lot of red zone targets, but I see Trey Burton being his go-to.
Yeah, Kittle, big Kittle fan right here, so I agree with that one. Another guy, Greg Olson, but a guy, the matchup isn't the greatest, is Cameron Brate. You know, going against the Saints, but the dude produces. He's a top 10 fantasy tight end, so that's why I threw him in there, honorable mention. I think Tampa is going to be down to the better team, so they are going to be throwing the ball. And PPR, I think he'll get his catches a few yards, and he might even get you that touchdown. But I think, you know, a 5 for 60 or whatever, he gives you about 8 to 10 fantasy points from him would be pretty solid. So those are three. But like I said, it's still tough. Even with Kittle, I love Kittle. I'm starting him in a couple leagues. It's crazy how that happens. But he is going against Minnesota, and that's a very good defense. So he's a start, but it's almost like, do you want to avoid him? You know what I mean? As far as that goes, I don't really have someone I would necessarily want to avoid all the way.
So for my starters, I would tell you that obviously Travis Cleese, that's a gimme. But for my sleeper, I'm going to take Galiski from Miami. He's going to get targets. They need that guy across the middle, and that'll help them with that game, and it'll help them at least, at the very least, just start that ball rolling for them on the field. But I'm going to have to disagree with y'all. I would tell you to stay away from Kittle. I think they're going to get eaten up by Minnesota's defense, and you're going to start him, and yeah, you hope for that 8 to 10. He might be lucky to produce 4 to 5.
I got to start him in a couple. He's in there.
That is
late.
and that's our fourth start.
Actually, it's tough because one of them I got to decide between Kittle and Brate, and they both have tough defenses, so it's just like, whatever.
Well, producer Pat, again, we have Clayton versus Spencer as far as tight end goes.
I hope y'all write this down because I'm not. But y'all need to make some bets.
But there will be bets.
We will review off air and
Yeah.
Somebody's getting naked.
I'm already naked.
On air.
I've got the.
I'm not wearing pants right now, so
That's why Spencer's so low.
Jeff comes to the office very relaxed.
I do cover. All right, my tight ends are pretty simple. Delaney Walker, I think he's going to have an
Sit
outstanding
him.
game.
Damn, he didn't even finish the sentence.
And I'm going to go with a guy that people say, yeah, he's okay, but he's always in the top 10 every year. He's been in the top 5. I'm going to go Rudolph for the Vikings. He's just solid. He's just solid all around. I know they got Stephon Diggs, and Stephon Diggs has that cute commercial now with everything sticking on him. But
Thielen.
but Rudolph has been solid throughout. I think he's a start against the Niners.
Yeah, this is one thing that people, they tend to want to get cute with their sits and start them. Sometimes you just got to go with that solid guy that gives you that solid production. And it takes you got to remember the great race of the tortoise and the hare.
That's true.
You know?
The tortoise took its time and won. All right, let's go to our sponsors.
This podcast is brought to you by Grizzly Grease. Sorry, one second. Brought to you by Grizzly Grease. Man, if you're going to have a beard, take care of it. And Grizzly Grease products are the way to go with everything going on with their oils and their balm. And if you get balm, be balm is one of the big quotes. And so interesting fact over there is that's brought to you by women. Actually formed that up. And tell you what, man, I'll be honest with you guys, as much as I want to deny it, women have, I believe, have a little bit better knowledge on hair care.
They're better knowledge.
You know, they do. But if you, in case
John
you guys are
Stamos
wondering,
might
it's
disagree.
grizzlygrease.com. Over there, they're located in Old Town Spring off of Winchell Road. Some good stuff going on there. Real great people over there, and they, of course, like I said, this is brought to you by them. But we also want to make sure we mention it wouldn't be a true podcast for us if we didn't mention Houston Preeminence. Launching October 1st, we're going to be joining up with their team. We're pretty excited to be a part of that. It's a lot of good stuff going on. The Houston-based podcast, Houston Sports done by Houstonians. Great things, exciting. Look for us there. And, of course, once again, that's where a lot of our MMA will be kicking up with our own, I'm trying to coin the phrase Guillotine Joe. But
Guillotine Joe.
But right now he's IDP Joe, so we're going to go with that.
I
But,
was like, Oga Plata Joe.
I was going to go with Toehold Joe.
Toehold Joe, I can't argue with that either. That's a pretty nice one. And then, of course, guys, if y'all would, make sure you follow us on Facebook. And I'm sure you guys are seeing it pop up. Make sure y'all make notes of the Twitter handles that are involved with everything going on. And, of course, our Twitter handle is at DynastyWise_FF. And I'll let the guys make sure they get their Twitter handles here in just a little bit. Thank you guys for listening. Keep on. There's some great info coming back your way.
Keep on keeping on.
That's right. Also, yes.
Back to you, Jeff.
Thank you, Pat. Let me do my professional news broadcaster thing.
You're not supposed to say it on the air.
Dumbass. We're on air, weatherman. Stop it. I also want to say, check us out on YouTube. If we get 50 subscribers on YouTube, we'll be doing levels 3 and 4, the Death Nut Challenge. We did level 1 and 2. Level 1 wasn't happy. Level 2, we were a little disappointed.
Jeff's going to plug them.
So, what? Oh, okay. So, and
Question coming in.
Okay.
I hate to cut you off, Jeff. I apologize. But we have a question from Mr. Billy.
What up, Billy?
Kittle or Ebron?
Clayton, why don't you take this one?
I know which direction he's going to go. I don't want to hear from him.
All right, Joe. Yeah, either one of y'all? You going Kittle, Clay? What do you want to say?
Man, I want to go Kittle, but like I even said, it's that Vikings defense. I don't even trust Ebron, but going against Cincinnati, Andrew Luck coming back, I almost want to say Ebron.
Joe?
That's a toughie.
No, it's not.
I want to say Ebron right off the bat, but I feel like Kittle's going to see the touches. He's going to be forced to see the touches from
Yes.
Jimmy G. I think that defense is going to have him scrambling, running around. I feel like they're going to be stopping the run. I feel like he's going to have to just throw it out to his soon-to-be safety blanket in George Kittle.
Eric Ebum is the tight end Sammy Watkins. He ain't done nothing. What has he done? Shit, he's walked around and said, I'm the greatest tight end ever. Really? Really? You get like 30 catches a year? You freak it. Never mind.
And with that quarterback.
Yeah, I mean.
and Andrew Luck hasn't played. I mean,
But he had Stafford throwing to him.
that's true.
Oh, I am going to say, though, since we're still on the tight ends, it wouldn't be right if I didn't drop my knowledge to my peeps.
All right.
My avoid is, without Hayden Hurst in for Baltimore, I'm going to say that whole tight end squad, Boyle and Andrews, they're just not going to produce.
Okay. All right.
Before I get back to Kittle and Eron,
Put that
when
finger
the,
down.
when
For
the
Ebum.
when the F did you get Peeps?
I may or may not have to buy them, but
Yeah. Oh, they're bot Peeps.
Are these people you got duct tape in your closet?
You know what? I'm rolling Kittle in a couple leagues, so jump on the Kittle train and let's go together, Billy.
There you go, Billy. Don't start E-bum.
drop him. Actually, cut him.
You know, and since Billy asked the question, you know, he's a frequent Dynasty-wise
Thank you.
knowledge or connoisseur.
Oh,
So, you know, he
I don't know what that word
I'm
means.
as a producer, I have to look that word up.
he had started Matt Ryan, and I know he's a little worried about, you know, if he's going to win this week or not, because Matt Ryan wasn't that good. And I still think he's in good hands, especially when you have OBJ, Mike Evans, Dalvin Cook, Alex Collins, you know, Dion Lewis at flex, and IDP. He's got Quan Alexander and Bobby Wagner,
And
C.J. Mosley,
Yeah.
and I'm almost, me personally, Billy, I think I would want to trade Quan and C.J. Mosley out. I just think C.J. Mosley's going to be on the field and produce, but can't go wrong either way. So I think you're going to be in good hands and still get the win this week.
Yeah, Billy, don't. It's the first game. I know you want big points from your quarterback. You don't get it. But there have been times where I've, like, blown up and been like, man, I already got 150 points, and somebody comes and beats me. And then there's been times where my guys didn't do nothing. And I'm like, oh, I lost this game. But then, you know, so it's just the first game. So I understand you get that feeling because the red zone is the no-go zone for Matt Ryan, apparently. But yeah, man, you've got a solid team. I don't know who you were drafting with, but, you know, Dalvin Cook might split carries with Latavius Murray, but he's also dynamic out of the backfield catching the ball, and he'll probably get more touches. But, yeah, I think his team is solid. I want to get in that league.
Right. The only thing, you know, he's got a few flex options. Like, if I didn't want Dion Lewis, like I said, a Kerryon Johnson, Emmanuel Sanders, or even an Allen Robinson. But I think Dion Lewis is a solid flex this week.
Oh, speaking of the Bears, Adam Shaheen is out for the year, so it really is only Trey Burton now over there. So, you know,
dang.
some other guys are out. People are like, well, you know, Jarvis Landry gone to Cleveland. It's Devontae Parker's year. I think he's out for the year. No, he might be out this game.
I would say again, God dang.
Yeah.
Keanu,
Even better, that solidifies my choice in
Kenny
starting.
Stills?
No, Burton.
Yeah.
Keanu Neal for all you IDP players. You know he's a solid safety. Torn his ACL.
Buy him cheap if you can and stash him.
Yeah, if somebody drops them, stash them for you Dynasty players.
Yeah, put him on your IR if you got the one
That's
second,
crazy.
guys.
I was going to say, unfortunately, the way the season's going is I think that IR is going to get loaded up pretty quick.
And here's a crazy
It's not
stat.
looking good, folks.
No.
I heard a crazy stat on the radio on the way over here. 300 something players, you know, already on IR, and there's been already 29 ACL tears, and there was like 23 all of last year. Yeah, so.
It's
Jeez.
getting scary. They're faking it.
Well,
Well, some injuries, you know, on the IR are the young guys. Oh, you're injured, so they can stash them on the team's IR. So you got to take that. But ACL, that's probably real.
yeah. No, let's see. Devontae Parker has a hurt finger, and he is doubtful.
Oh my! See, you know what? He's the new. He's him and Sammy Watkins are in the same class. You know. Oh well, injured. Oh, my poo poo hurts. I can't play.
You know, that year that he came out, there were like all these amazing receivers, and Brashard Perryman got cut.
Yep.
I forgot what team he went to. Devontae Parker was going to be a stud. Laquan Treadwell came out, I believe, in that draft, and it's just duds.
Year 3 for Treadwell, correct? So this would be the year you really would want to see him take that. If he doesn't, he probably never will. Let's go ahead and kick him to the curb.
Yeah.
Doxson showed some last year.
He did.
So, you know, you want to see him build on that, but I feel like they took a step back getting Alex Smith versus the Kirk Cousins as far as, like, your passing game goes. And so, I mean, we'll see. There's a lot to see. But, yeah, that everybody was. You never know.
And was Coleman cut when he was whining on Hard Knocks? Well, you're not going to play me, trade me. Then they traded him. I heard he got cut. I believe he got cut.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Bill's
Landry gave a good big speech about weak bitch attitudes,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty sure he was referring to
Coleman ain't
Yeah.
done nothing. He going to walk in the coach's office
He's
on
also
Hard
brittle.
Knocks. Yeah, he's going to walk coach hard. If you ain't going to play me, trade me. Like he's going to go somewhere and now all of a sudden produce.
How'd that
screw
work
you.
out for Des Bryant?
Yeah. Well, he's pimping.
Yeah.
So,
If you're not going to play me, cut me.
yeah. All right.
All right. Thanks,
So,
I appreciate it.
I told my boss, if you're not going to pay me, fire me. He goes, you can leave. I was like, no, I was kidding.
All right. We're going to move on to we got team defense, but we're going to do our let's do team defenses first, then we'll go into IDP.
IDP.
Okay.
Oh,
So, Joe, why don't you start us off with your team defense, sir?
my team defense. I got two of them.
Okay.
You got to start the Jags against the Giants. I feel like they're going to test Barkley, see what he can do. They're going to test Eli to see if they can beat him, and that's a no-fly zone over there. I'm going to say as well as the Vikings. I really like everything that they got going on in the defensive side, from the line all the way back to the secondary. A bunch of studs over there. But I'm going to say to avoid, I'm going to say the Giants. I don't know. It's something about the way the game's going to go. I just think they're just going to be down in the dirt. They're not going to have a good game all around.
Not bad. The defense that I would love to start this week would, of course, be the New Orleans Saints. That's my starter versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. If I'm avoiding a defense, it's going to be, I'm thinking I'm going to avoid either, although I think they'll finish the year a good defense is like the Texans and stuff, I just think it's going to be a high-scoring game. So that'd be someone,
Yeah.
Texans and Patriots. I'd avoid the Patriots defense, maybe still roll with the Texans. But, yeah, start the Saints for sure and roll with that.
All right. I got the Baltimore Ravens. I think they're just going to lock it down. You got Mosley, who plays all over the field. Suggs is still there. He's quick as a cat. So I think the Ravens, their matchup's good this week, so I'm going to go Ravens. So,
I had a quick question come in, and I'm going to quote them.
all right.
Shit. I have the Giants defense.
No, don't panic. I just don't like this week.
But the question continued on to
Oh.
who should I pick up as a team
Ooh.
defense? I would assume that the Jacksonville and all the majors are gone, so you're probably looking at your mid-range defenses.
Yeah,
I would venture to say they're probably asking who they think is going to break off this year.
kind of need to know who's available on that one.
If the Vikings, Rams,
Those are all probably gone.
The Chargers might be out there, and
Yeah.
they've got a
Chargers.
good team. But at the same time,
week 1.
Giants got a great defensive tackle, and they're playing the Jags, right?
Jags got a really solid offensive line. And
They have a solid offensive
and
line, but there are 3 quarterbacks that just look stupid in this league, and 2 of them are playing in this game, with the third one being Andrew Luck. Honestly, when I listen to Andrew Luck and Eli Manning do like post-game interviews, I'm like, oh my God, how do these guys know stuff? But I wouldn't panic so much with the Giants, because it is versus Blake Bortles, but maybe the Chargers, they might still be out there.
Them or maybe Detroit versus the Jets, starting a rookie Sam Darnold. And
Right.
So, they're not a very good team. So, there's an option for you.
Who are the Bills playing again? I don't know, but
Baltimore.
Oh, I had that there down.
Dumbass.
Pick up Baltimore. That's what I just said.
Yeah, that actually wouldn't be bad either. Unless Peterman starts dropping dimes all over the field.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of the cue. Hunt down if you kind of see who's playing the rookie quarterback. That's a good way to go, and I guess for this week, if need be.
Yeah, bad team.
Cincinnati, Cleveland. Cincinnati's got Geno Atkins on the line.
It might be a good first week start
Yeah.
against Andrew Luck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. They're solid.
So thank you for the question.
Cleveland.
I hope we answered it.
We did.
Another question.
Oh, okay.
This is unfootball related.
Oh,
Yeah, someone's getting saucy because I made a comment earlier. I put about the tight end question. I put Clay likes Ebron, Joe likes Kittle, and I put Jeff likes Popeyes. So
I do.
The question came in: Popeyes, KFC, or Church's Chicken?
Popeyes.
Popeyes.
Not even close. Not even
Popeyes.
close.
There you have it. So don't ask stupid questions. But thank you for the question.
And we want a sponsorship, Popeyes, for saying that.
I need a
Hell yeah.
spicy chicken tender.
I love those spicy
At least
chicken
give us
tenders.
those biscuit heads they have, at the very least.
That's going to be our next headphones. They're going to be biscuits.
Yeah,
All right. Sorry, Jeff. Didn't mean to cut you off. It was a great question. Thank
that's
you.
all right. My stupid doctor again. Just give me a bigger pill. I don't care. I'm not going to stop eating Popeyes. Just give me my fat pills. My pills that let me be fat. But,
Thank you, modern day prescription companies, for all the pills.
Thank you, Pfizer.
Big pharma.
And this next is brought to you by Viagra.
Yeah. You weren't supposed to say that on the air. Someone has issues.
I'm not on camera.
Oh, Jeff. Jeff, you're not supposed to take the Viagra before we do our podcast.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
At least wear pants next time.
I know. I was comfortable. But all right, let's move to defensive line. Let's go to you, Joe. Who are some guys you should start, and who are some guys, if you got anyone, who are you going to put on the bench? And if you got edge rushers, you can put them here too.
Okay, thank you. I'm so glad you brought up edge
Yes,
rushers
sir.
because they're real. They're hybrids out in the game. NFL.com, you need to update your stuff. Khalil Mack, I'm going to say right off the bat. I don't care. He's their new outside linebacker.
Amen.
If we see here in the next few weeks, watch him be lining, not even in the backfield as a linebacker. Watch him with his hand
He'll
in the
be
dirt.
with his hand in the dirt.
But I digress.
Outside linebacker.
An actual
That's what they
linebacker.
do.
Actual
Defensive lineman, I'm going to say Linval Joseph over there at the Vikings. I see him having a good night against the San
Niners.
Francisco. Yeah.
Okay. You have any do nots?
I'm going to say avoid Leonard Williams.
All right. Clay, let's go to you, buddy.
All right. So on my defensive line, I'm going to start with the big rookie, Dayron Payne, Washington versus Arizona. Arizona's on a very good team. He's
Bring him the
talented.
pain.
And I'm going with J.J. Watt. He's going to be my other defensive lineman starter. He's healthy, so I'm going to use him. And,
Got to if you got him.
yeah.
Payne was probably the most athletically gifted lineman in that draft class.
Yeah, they did say that. Vita Vea is just fat.
But he can move too. He can
Don't
get low.
sleep on the
Vita
Samoan.
Vea can get that,
Well, he's
that
injured,
big
so-
body low.
He might be questionable this week.
Oh, my Lord. But, yeah, so those are my two defensive linemen. I don't really got an avoid.
Okay.
They're
Well, I also am going with Khalil Mack at edge, hybrid. I just think he wants to get out there and play and just have amazing game, kind of an FU to the Raiders, which, I guess you give Gruden 3 years to see what he does, but the first step doesn't look good.
The question that came in for that with Khalil Mack
Okay.
for you guys is, did they pay too much for Khalil Mack?
I don't
With the draft picks and the big
Re-
contract.
reports were coming out. Honestly, they paid just enough because the Rams were steadily on him. They were wanting
Yes.
to get him, and Darnold and Mack would have just been devastating to the whole league.
And yeah, Sue on the line also.
But
Yeah.
the reports were coming out that the Rams were pushing him hard, and then that was what you needed to pay to get him.
Rams
They
can't
got
pay
him.
everybody, but they probably would have just loaded up Mack for the year, went on a Super Bowl run, and then let him go to free agency.
Yeah.
So I can see the argument of paying too much because maybe you could have given him that contract in free agency, but also you take the risk of him choosing somewhere else. But, I mean, Mack, man, 2 first-round picks, that's a lot, and I heard it best. That's a lot for a non-quarterback, so in a way I would think almost yes. Mack has been very productive, but almost too much, in my opinion.
All right. I'll just play devil's advocate. I'm going to say, yeah, it's good. You brought in one of the best, top 2, definitely top 3 pass rushers into a division where you got Aaron Rodgers, Matthew Stafford, and now Kirk Cousins. And the Bears have Biscuits, who's just not up there yet. But, I'm not saying he won't be, but, but you're bringing in the premier edge/defensive end rusher. If he produces, you're not going to miss those draft picks. When Washington traded 2 first rounds for RG3, at his first year, he played pretty decent for a rookie.
He was Defensive Player of the Year 2 years ago. 2 years
Mack,
ago?
yeah. Yeah, I believe so. Might have been last year. I don't know, but he something like that. But But everyone was like, man, we got our franchise quarterback, and then he sucked. Now we're like, crap. So to your point, Clay, it's a lot for a non-quarterback.
Yeah.
But I'll just say, yeah, because you've got three damn good quarterbacks in that division who are now like shit. You know.
I mean, their defense was pretty solid. Now it's just even better, so they can definitely compete. You know, now they have a lot riding on the growth of Biscuits.
Yes.
Biscuits, he doesn't have to win them games. Just don't make the mistake a la Blake Bortles' role. He just has to do that. Don't turn the ball over.
Yeah,
you know.
that's pretty much it.
Manage the game, and they could, win a few games.
Yeah. All right. So obviously, I'm going with Khalil Mack for that. I just think he wants to show the Raiders that you made a mistake. And with I'm gonna hop on Clayton's back, and I'm gonna go Jadeveon Clowney.
It's a piggyback ride.
And I'm going Clowney because it's a contract year. Players kick ass contract year. Then they suck. Clayton and I don't agree on Clowney. I'm like, if you're the first pick of the draft, do everything. Don't do the little things here and there. That's what for third round picks to do. That's why Dennis Rodman did all the dirty work and Jordan scored. But it's a contract year. I think he wanted, he said he'd rather be drafted by the Falcons, but he'll be happy the Texans take him when they did, and of course they did. But other than that's my personal opinion. My thoughts are they might double team or even triple team Watt, and that would open it up for Clowney. I definitely don't dispute taking J.J. Watt there either. I mean, he's, if he's back to himself, forget about it. But so I'll go Clowney on that. I think he wants the money, and J.J. is going to get double, maybe triple team. Okay, y'all have anything else on that, or are we going to move to linebackers?
I was going to move to linebackers, but it was going to be like a smooth transition.
We had a question come in.
Oh, okay.
How bad will the Cowboys lose?
10 points.
All right.
10 points at least, I think. I think it's going to be a lot of Cam Newton. He's going to be crucial in picking up those rushing yards. But, yeah, keeping to the Texans team in that Patriots game and going to linebackers, I think, technically you got to line Clowney up as a linebacker because he's an OLB, but whatever, would be Whitney Merciless. He's one of the most underrated players in the league, and I think with all the attention of Watt and Clowney, Merciless will emerge in there, and he's solid. Outside chance of actually leading the team in sacks this year, barring injury. So linebacker, that's not who I had, but I'm actually.
That's a good take, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Very good take.
And I was rolling out with T.J. Watt in one league, but now I've kind of switched out. I'm going to roll with Bradley Chubb and Miles Jack.
Say it.
I love Chubb.
I love Chubb.
Chubb against that horrendous Seattle offensive line, and then he's got Von Miller and a pretty solid defense around him. I think he's going to have a chance. I think he's going to sneak in a sack and a few tackles this week, give me some solid points. And main reason I was going to roll T.J. Watt, yes, it's Cleveland, and I just wanted to start both Watts. But the more I thought about it, I like Miles Jack's matchup better against the Giants. And I think he'll be in there getting his tackles, getting Barkley behind the line of scrimmage, some, interceptions on the screens to Barkley, stuff like that. So that's three names I threw out there.
Yeah, and you're right. Clowney is more of a linebacker. I should have also said he's an edge. Sometimes the Texans do play a hybrid 4-3, but mostly 3-4. So just throwing a defensive player, I'm going to say Damon Harrison on the Giants. He was like 7th in scoring last year in our league. I actually had him on my team. I picked him up. You saw I picked him up, then I had to drop him because all my defensive linemen have the same bye week, and he had the same bye week. I was like, I'm going to get Damon Harrison. He's a good player. Clayton's not going to steal this guy from me, So, but go ahead, Pat.
There's a question that came in about Tremaine Edmonds.
Well, I will tell you this. I am starting Tremaine Edmonds. In the preseason, he looked hesitant. As big and bad as he is, the preseason he looked hesitant, and I think he was just trying to avoid making mistakes. I'm not saying that's a negative thing. Just he wants to do everything right, and that's passion. He's trying. So what is your question about Tremaine Edmonds, sir?
History has proven that the Bills' defense, that linebacker eats. Middle linebacker eats everywhere. Preston Brown thrived off of it when he was there. Edmonds is going to be seeing a lot of tackles. He's going to be getting a lot of opportunities. He's honestly someone you should probably stash if you got. But that's the same exact situation that I have with one of my guys to start, and that's Raekwon McMillan over there in Miami. I feel like he's going to be seeing more snaps than anyone on that defense, and he's going to be getting all over the field.
All right.
I'm going to say the obvious C.J. Mosley. If you
I
got
also
him,
have
start
C.J.
him.
Mosley starting. All right.
My last one, I'm going to say with the 4-game suspension with Vontez Burfict, it's a kind of a prove it kind of position right now. Preston Brown over at Cincy, he's got 4 games for the coaches to decide if he's going to keep that position.
That sounds like he would be a banker with that name. You know, well, my banker Preston Brown's coming over to tell me about my finances. Preston.
My avoid is going to be Anthony Hitchens over there at Kansas City. New scheme coming from Cowgirls. I just don't. He's got to prove it.
Did you have anything else to add?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
All right. Well, let's move on to defensive backs. And let's go to you, Clayton, and then Joe.
I'm rolling me Jamal Adams. The dude's a stud safety. That's where your points are at. And I'm also going with the veteran Earl Thomas. Every time I start him, he's healthy. He's double-digit points for me, you know. And that was older scoring. I think he'll be in there making tackles, being in the mix. Honorable mention, who I almost wanted to start, you know. Like, keep in mind, I wasn't going with your bigger names. I like these deeper guys a lot more because we cover the bigger names.
Clayton's kind of trying to give you guys, there's some obvious names. Clayton went with more of, you know, some sleepers.
Yeah, like Minka Fitzpatrick. I think he could have a very solid game. And so keep an eye on that one. You know, good DB room.
All right, Joe. Are you done, Clayton?
Yes.
All right.
For DBs, I'm going to say Jabril Peppers. Browns over there are bringing back the box safety, and Peppers is going to be filling that spot. Something I feel like the Texans should do and utilize Honey Badger in that spot, but I digress. Peppers also sees all the returns that he's getting, so if you got returns on, then a lot of your other DBs, if you've got it in your league where DBs can get return yardage, then he's going to be looking a lot higher than normal. But I'm also going to go with Budda Baker with the leaving of Honey Badger coming over here to the Texans again with Honey Badger.
Right.
Budda Baker's now the man over there.
Right.
So he's got to prove it, and the way he was playing last season, if he can continue that progression, he's going to be another stud in the league. And then I'm also going to go Adrian Amos if you've got him. I feel like that Bears defense, they're really going to be putting it to it, and I feel like Amos is going to be able to just go wherever he wants on the field because he's got no pressure with linebackers. They're going to be putting the pressure on Rodgers. I feel like it's just a good matchup for him. My avoid is going to be Denzel Ward. I didn't really like what I had been seeing from him. He's not the most physical guy. He's a little undersized, and I feel like he's gonna get beat. He's gonna be tested, that's for sure. So it might be good on fantasy wise, but yeah, I feel like he's gonna be tested and get proven that he ain't a shutdown corner.
And wasn't he nursing an injury for a little while? Mm-hmm. He kind of reminds me of Kevin Johnson, one of the top-rated cover corners coming in, slider frame, injury problems. Mm-hmm. You know.
The thing with Johnson, though, is that little dude with the little frame loves to bang. He loves to throw that body like he's 200 and something pounds. Exactly.
That reminds me of who was the cornerback the Texans took a long time ago? Robinson, was it?
Dante Robinson.
Mm-hmm. Well, Robinson flew in, he just went in as hard as he could at Denver. It was a Denver game, and he went, head to head versus fullback, and they collided. He knocked him down, and he got knocked down. And when he came in the huddle, Jamie Sharper is playing linebacker for the Texans there. He says, you like playing in the NFL? He goes, yeah. He goes, well, you're not going to play long. You do that. Look, dude, I know you want to hit him, but that's a 240-pound guy, right. So, but I'm going to go with Marshawn Lattimore out of the Saints. He might get targets. He might not. I just think he's prepped to be one of those cornerbacks that are second year, I believe, and come up and say, hey, I'm here. My other one, this guy played phenomenal in preseason as a rookie. Like, he looked like Ronnie Lott out there. He's not Ronnie Lott, but he looked like he's a mix of Ronnie Lott and Ed Reed. But Derwin James for the Chargers, that dude, a ball hawker. He's a tackler. So I'm going to say this rookie, start Derwin James because, like I say, his performance in preseason was amazing. And my surprise star, which isn't a surprise, but I just want to throw his name out there, is the Honey Badger. Because the Honey Badger says, I've never played Tom Brady. So, he's out there. He's going to be playing his damnedest to get that pick. But, Clayton, I want to go to you about Earl Thomas. With his contract dispute and unhappiness, do you think he might just be like lackadaisical out there? Or you say, nah, he's a player. What do you say?
He's a player. You can't go out there and be lackadaisical. That's how you get injured.
Okay.
So I think he's going to go out there. He's a football player. That's why he reported. That's why he came to play. He let them know I'm not happy with my contract. I want a new one, but I'm going to show up and handle my business, and then you can pay me or somebody else will.
All right.
I got a question coming in. It's actually, I felt like it was a really good question, IDP related.
I'll decide.
All right. They're looking to make a pickup off of waivers. Okay, they don't necessarily have a name, but they asked, should they be looking for a punt returning corner or a possible tackle happy safety?
I always go tackle happy safety because through and through they've proven that even if they don't get with the returning.
But they do get return yards.
Yes.
Okay.
Return yards, though, it's how much yards are they really going to get every game?
Yeah.
It's just an added perk. Rather, high tackling safety is always just going to win.
Yeah, I'm kind of along the same. I want the tackler. Week in, week out, he's going to be there. Yeah, the returner, he could bust that long one here and there. I mean, unless he has averages, how good's the defense? How often are they going to cause these punts? But I mean, is he also playing a lot, getting you good tackles? I mean, if he's both, then you want the punt returns as well. But if he's really all he does is punt returns, then I need the tackles, and so I go with the safety on that.
I think both their takes were quality takes. I'll just add how many touchdowns are from punt returns or kick returns? Not a lot. So, take the safety who not only make tackles, might get an interception, might tip the ball. Some Clayton says, like, how much is the guy actually playing a cornerback? He's like the fourth cornerback. He's really not getting out there. So what? You might get, let's say he gets, he got me 50 yards, but he got you 5 points. That's it. The safety got you 5 points tackles and a tip ball if that counts as your scoring. But yeah, there's like maybe 5 touchdowns, and don't quote me on that. So the chances
Quoted.
are quoted on
You can quote them.
So I definitely agree. I think their takes were brilliant. I just add in, you really don't see a lot of scores as far as returns go. Any other questions?
Not at the moment. There's some more coming in. I'm kind of filtering through them right now.
Okay. Well, let's just do a prediction.
Trying to find the relevant ones. Go ahead.
Oh, all right.
Bold. Wait. Bold
No,
prediction or just prediction?
just who's going to win?
Just a prediction.
Just a prediction. All right, Clay, Buffalo at Baltimore. Who wins?
Baltimore.
Joe?
I'm going to go Baltimore.
Baltimore.
Spencer says Baltimore. I will say Baltimore. All right, Clay, Jacksonville at the Giants.
Jacksonville.
Agreed. I hate to say it. They're in our division.
Yeah.
I have to agree.
Spencer's
Jacksonville's defense is going to slow the Giants down enough to where they're not going to be able to.
Jacksonville. Spencer says Jacksonville. I don't know what else he said. So.
It's a great take, Spence.
Yeah,
Good job,
thank you. I'm going to say the Giants. They're at home, and I don't want Jacksonville to win.
I don't want them to win either. I just think they're the better team, that defense.
All right, big game here. Not because we're from Houston, but it's just a big matchup. Houston at New England. Clay.
Upset alert.
Yeah, I'm taking Houston, but you also skipped the matchup.
Upset alert.
No, it's all over. It's all over.
Yeah, Houston. Houston for me, I think. Yes, New England has Gronk and all that, but I think Houston's going to surprise, and I think Deshaun Watson's going to lead them to victory.
All right, Joe, you said Houston?
Yeah, upset.
Texans.
Spencer says Texans. I'm going to go New England.
Boo.
Haters gonna hate.
Always
I
that
think
one.
New England's at home.
He's a Tennessee
I was
fan.
gonna say Jeff. Since you're the only one that didn't go that right, what
Yeah.
what do you think is gonna be the biggest contributing factor? Tom Brady, or is it gonna
New
be
England's at home. Tom Brady, he can play with crap receivers and make them look good. I see the Texans winning, but I just think because it's at New England, the fans, the home field advantage, they're just gonna win.
Last game? What did Tom Brady have 5 passing touchdowns?
Yeah, it was a high scoring
But I
affair.
was gonna say, but I think Texas.
Yeah, we
still
were right.
had 4.
Yeah, and I think we're gonna be better on defense. But
No,
we forgot the Patriots did sign Steven Anderson for all the Texans secrets. So
Yeah. Plus, every time the Teds have gone up there to Gillette Stadium, they get embarrassed. So I'm just but
not this year.
all right.
things change.
Another big game, a lot of back and forth for this game. The Niners at Minnesota. Clay.
I got the Vikings. Their defense. They're one of the most complete teams, if not the most complete team in the NFL. And I feel like Kirk Cousins is an upgraded quarterback over Case Keenum. They have the weapons, a healthy Dalvin Cook. That defense is still top notch, and that's
nasty receivers
yeah.
as well, man.
Yeah, it's on Diggs, Thielen, Rudolph. Treadwell might break out this year. You never know.
We'll see. Joe.
Definitely Minnesota.
Minnesota. Spencer.
The soda.
He said Minnesota.
Sorta.
We'll come back
Don't you
to
know?
it.
Don't you know?
We'll come back to it, but there's a question of best trio receivers in the NFL.
Pittsburgh, hands down, for me. They got Juju, Antonio Brown, and what's his name from Oklahoma State. James Washington has been a beast
Yeah,
in
but
preseason.
I don't know if you can throw him in there yet.
Well, I am.
Okay.
Jeff goes Pitt.
Here you go, Clay.
On the 3 wide receivers, like just wide receivers, or you want
Yeah,
like
the trio wide receivers was the question.
Three wide
Because
receivers.
I almost want to say I like the Giants with Shepard and OBJ, but Ingram's not a receiver. But then you got the Rams with Cup, Woods, and Cooks. I mean,
I just think Woods is a decent number 2. I
But
think
he fades
Juju
at
could go
3.
start at 1.
How do y'all feel about Atlanta?
Good.
I mean, that last game aside,
yeah. I mean,
It's good.
they got Julio.
but Julio,
I
Calvin
got
Ridley,
Julio.
and
Well, Ridley needs to step up. I'm
Yeah.
glad I started Ajayi at flex instead of him.
Where's Chad? And he guarantees a Ridley touchdown. Bring me to our next point.
3 for 49 and a
Chad
TD, I
says he
believe said.
guarantees it. Let's not go with it.
There was a issue. Chad, get well. There was something about a hamster. I don't know any more details. Does anyone
Wrecked
know? Damn near killed him. But so what? I guess his pet hamster got stuck somewhere. So I don't know. We just hope. I don't know. I guess the hamster's hurt. I heard Chad was hurt. I don't know what that was talking about. That seemed weird. But yeah. Anyway, Joe.
I'm gonna take a bold take, and I'm gonna say the Rams
That's what I
with Cooks, Woods, Cup,
That's
high targets, all 3 of them, speed all around.
Okay.
Rams.
All right.
Packers got a good one. Cobb,
I would say Green Bay.
Adams,
If
and then
If Jordy's healthy, I'd tell you Green Bay's got.
or you want to throw in what's his name?
They've got veterans on there, great hands, great route running, and they've got a quarterback that can deliver.
Spencer says Green Bay. Good route running, great hands. Aaron Rodgers throwing to him.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty. I mean,
$134 million glass collar throwing dimes.
I forgot where we were.
Go back to Tampa Bay and New Orleans. I think you skipped it.
Oh, I'm
I'm
sorry.
gonna say the Saints.
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 I don't. Fitzmagic's coming in during the suspension.
I'll play devil's advocate on that one. I think Tampa Bay could surprise them.
Tampa Bay. Spencer says Tampa Bay could surprise them, which would be a surprise.
Yeah.
I got to go Saints. You got to.
You got to, man.
Yeah.
You got to.
Sing it again, Pat.
Oh, when the Saints come marching in. Oh, when the Saints go marching in.
Everybody.
Oh, good Lord, yeah.
All right. Tennessee at Miami. That's a game I just want to avoid watching.
I say it's gonna be a slugfest. It's gonna be not a good slugfest. I mean, like the actual slug, like a snail.
Right. Spencer.
And I'm gonna say Miami wins it.
Okay, I apologize.
I agree, Joe. I was almost going to say Tennessee, but you know what? Mariota's overrated. Screw you, Cam. Titans going to lose.
Yeah.
Question coming in.
Question coming in.
Derrick Henry. How do y'all feel he's going to perform this week?
I like that handcuff, honestly. over there
With
with
Dion.
with Dion.
Yeah, I think
Big,
they'll both.
small.
Man, they're gonna run the ball. I mean,
They have to.
that's what I'm saying. He's gonna have every chance. I mean, what's your other team looking? I think it's gonna be solid play, double-digit points. You know, I think they get close. He's gonna get that goal line. I mean, the dude's huge.
Yep.
And fast.
Maybe Miami has a good defensive line. All I can think of is Cameron Wake, and he's more of a rusher than he is like a J.J. Watt in who can play pass and run.
Gavino, or however you pronounce it. He's
See,
solid
we don't even know how to
defensive tackle.
pronounce his name. So, but all right, so they
Not,
got one.
not,
Not gonna be working here anymore. But so I'm gonna say he has an okay game.
Yeah.
I feel bad for the guy because they drafted him and then they signed DeMarco Murray.
Yeah.
Stupid Titan fans.
hey, I think he needed the time to develop.
Tighten up your belts, you fatties.
Damn.
Damn.
You know my takes on Titan fans. Bunch
We
of
know.
nicks. Bunch of
I'm gonna
Cliff
go
Pallet
with
idiots.
the Natty.
Hold on.
What? You're
Next
taking too long.
No, I didn't.
Cincinnati. Indy.
I'm saying Miami wins, Spencer. Miami. All right, you're saying Cincinnati at Indy.
Cincinnati.
Yeah, I'm going Bengals.
WK.
I see the near. Oh wait, he's not the near anymore. I see the porn mustache. Andrew Luck is gonna have a hard time.
I showed the back. He really looks like he's on the spectrum when he talks.
2 questions coming in.
2 questions coming in.
AJ Green.
Yes.
He wasn't mentioned today.
He's solid.
He's a
He's
starter?
a star. That's
He's one of those guys you just start.
yeah.
Okay, it's a given. And Marlon Mack.
He's questionable right now, so you have to watch the injury thing.
Yeah, please check the injuries.
Yeah, you gotta
As
stay
Clay
posted.
says, the injury thing.
The injury
Yeah.
thing.
If he does play though, he's gonna be utilized a lot.
Jordan Wilkins, what? I don't know because all right, it's a hamstring or
Well,
whatever that's
It
bothering
also depends
Mac.
how much
and
he's
those
hurt.
soft tissues. I don't know. He would come in there, pull up lame in the middle of a play. Yep, Spencer knows what he's talking about.
Maybe this week you don't start him,
Yeah,
but I wouldn't get rid of him because he's.
No.
you know,
no, I'm not getting rid of him
Because
but,
I don't know what happened, but last year they were like, this dude is a stud. He's going to take over. And then they also like, well, Max, I'm like, pick one. You told me all last season that he's going to replace Frank Gore and he's a stud, and I thought he was. And then now this year it's like, he sucks. So I'm like, okay.
Jeff said drop him.
No, that's fine. Go ahead. But Marlon Mack is questionable. He had limited practice with a hamstring, so that's something.
Called it.
That's something you want to check Sunday morning on whatever show you watch, because this is Saturday. There can be a lot of game time decisions, so make sure you're watching. I don't care what show you watch, but watch it and get it taken care of before the game starts.
Or watch our Facebook and our Twitter feed because we'll have injury update as well.
Yes, definitely. Are we on Cincinnati, Indianapolis, Spencer?
Cincy.
I will say Cincy as well, because
The Natty.
I think John Ross looked good in the preseason too
Oh, okay.
at wide receiver. So
About time year 2 do something.
I know.
We saw he had one play, then he fumbled, and Clowney went running the other way with the ball.
All right, this is an interesting game. Pittsburgh at Cleveland. Clay.
This is actually, I'm calling it. It's one of my other upsets. I got Cleveland beating Pittsburgh.
Hot take.
Upset.
Well, I
Bold
can't
predictions.
steal the hot take now because I'm agreeing. I'm saying Cleveland
Get
gets
off
the
my nuts.
upset.
Bold predictions.
Spencer?
We added the S for you, Joe.
I'm going to say Pittsburgh. Cleveland ain't going to get their first win of the season off them.
I agree. Pittsburgh's going to win this game, but you just got to everybody's
I'm rooting
cheering
for
for
'em.
Cleveland.
It's got the formula written for upset, dude. It does.
I'm not saying it doesn't. I just think Pittsburgh's too damn good. They got a great defense. They got the best wide receiver trio in the game.
Does Le'Veon Bell change it?
No.
If Le'Veon Bell plays, hold on, I'm asking the guys that voted for Cleveland.
Oh.
Does he change your pick?
A little bit, but actually, I've been riding the Cleveland wave for a while. I think that's upset week 1.
No doubt in my mind. Even if Bell comes back, him and his linemen right now are in a little feud, a tussle. I see some bad situation in Steeler Town
Just
right now.
if he came back as like the first play, the lineman just got to go. Here you go. Like that's how we felt.
Who's to say Bell doesn't just run head on into the lineman that had said this?
Runs right into his butt.
Those dudes are pretty big.
All right.
But they're like this.
Another good rivalry game. You know, in division, I think a team could be 1 and like 14, and if they play someone in a division, they can beat them because they just know teams
Yeah.
so well. It's like
Exactly.
It's like the Redskins one year had like one of the best records, and that was the Aikman year, and they sucked. As a rookie, he was horrible, but they beat the Redskins. Because it's so the in division game. It's Kansas City at the Chargers. Who you got, Clay?
I got big Philly all day. Chargers, big Philly style. 9 kids and still out there dropping bombs. Good defense. Still gonna have a pretty good. He's got Keenan Allen. They brought Gates back. Mike Williams. I think Chargers for sure.
Joe.
Yeah, I'm definitely going Chargers.
Spencer.
I'm going to go KC.
He's going Kansas City. I'm going to go Chargers because they're at home. So I see the Kansas City pick, but I'm going to go Chargers. All right, Seattle at Denver, Clay.
I'm actually rolling with Denver. I like Seahawks are a fan or actually a team I kind of root for. I love Russell Wilson, but Denver like I said, I love Chubb. I think Bradley Chubb's gonna have an impact on the game and defensively, and I think Royce Freeman's gonna have a pretty positive impact offensively, and I just think Denver's gonna somehow pull this out.
All right, Joe.
We might forcibly have to see old Russell Wilson, the scrambling, running Russell Wilson, because of the danger that Chubb and Miller and everyone's bringing to the table. I'm going Seattle.
Okay.
I don't want to run, Coach.
Spencer?
Denver.
He's going Denver at home. I am going to go Denver as well. I think Case Keenum's a quality quarterback. He doesn't really lose games. He's taking that next step, so I'm going to go Denver. All right, Dallas at Carolina, Clayton.
Carolina, I definitely got Carolina. Cam Newton's gonna have a pretty big game, I think. Although injury report just came out, his tight end Greg Olsen is questionable with a back injury now, so got to keep an eye on that as well.
All right, Joe.
I see CMC actually having the biggest production in that whole game. I'm going to go with Carolina as well.
All right, Spencer.
Forget about the Cowgirls.
I'm going to say Carolina, but I think it's going to be a close game.
You're saying Carolina?
I'm going to say Carolina, but I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to come down to the fourth quarter.
All right, a close game. Spencer says it's going to be a close game, fourth quarter, Carolina. I'm going Carolina. They're at home. Dallas has to prove it to me.
Exactly.
And Chad on our message board or on our thing he said Carolina 52-13.
Nobody.
is what he thinks, but
Is that another one of those guarantees?
we'll let him chime in if he's listening.
How is the hamster? What happened there? All right, we'll go with Washington at Arizona.
Washington for me. I think they downgraded with Alex Smith, but I still think they'll be a productive and decent team. Losing guys was bad, but like I said, I'm going Washington. I think AP is actually going to run mad against Arizona and do some work, so he might be a solid flex this week.
Okay.
But yeah, I definitely got Washington.
Joe?
I'm going to play devil's advocate. I'm going to go the other side. I'm going to say Arizona. I say this game's going to be won, and it's going to come down to the defense, how defense plays that day. I don't really like either one of the whole matchup. I don't really like it. But I see Arizona squeezing out.
I am interested to see David Johnson. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Jeff, but I'm going to see David Johnson and see how he comes back.
He sucks.
Spencer? Spencer, dead air.
I don't know, man. I'd have to toss a coin.
All right.
I wouldn't watch that game if you paid me to.
a coin.
It's a coin toss
I would
for
say
Spencer.
Washington. I don't think Arizona has it.
Exactly.
I'm gonna
Washington
say-
it is.
Huh?
Your mom's a football.
Throw me the football. Go ahead, Jeff. Sorry.
I'm going to say Washington. They've got an okay defense. Arizona's another team where prove it to me.
Another fun fact, though, Washington last season, it was easier to name somebody that wasn't injured than name everybody that was injured.
Right.
So now if they're all healthy, it could be a whole another team.
True.
We flipped the football. Spencer's going Washington.
Oh, okay. That's a
Incoming.
bold take. All right. Very excited matchup. Chicago versus Wisconsin, Green Bay.
The Bears.
I'm going
gonna
the
say-
Bears. Yeah,
Sorry,
I didn't
John.
want it to sound like my pick though.
Oh, I got you. That's why I was like,
they are my pick. The Bears. That's gonna be. I think their
The who?
defense. The Bears. I got the Bears winning.
I didn't hear you. I didn't quite understand that.
The Bears.
The
Thank you.
Bears.
I know. Gay ass Chicago.
I would like
fan.
that. I'm rooting for Chicago like I'm rooting for the Browns because that defense, I'm really excited to see it. But I see Green Bay sneaking out a win.
All right.
It's going to be some smash mouth football, that's for sure. But I'm going to tell you, Green Bay's going to take
I
it.
smash mouth.
Spencer says smash mouth football. He's going to take Green Bay. Like the old SNL skit, I'm going to go the Bears 92 to 10. I'm going to say it's at Green Bay. I'm going to say Green Bay.
The tornado's named Ditka.
Yeah. If it's a tornado versus Ditka, who wins?
But
The Clappertons.
All right. The Monday night games, the Jets at Detroit, Clay.
I got Detroit.
All right.
All day, Detroit. A lot of people sleep on that defense time and time again. They prove they're up there.
Detroit.
Detroit, we are in agreement. Detroit. And the final game, the Rams at Oakland.
Rams.
All day, Rams.
All right, Spencer?
I'm going to say Oakland just because I want to see Carr go off, and I want the Rams. I want the Rams to have a challenge. I know they're a good, solid team, but I want Oakland to come out and show that they are too.
I want a good game for sure. I just think the Rams at the end of the day are just too talented on both sides of the ball.
question coming in:
Question.
Derrick Henry or Marshawn Lynch?
Henry.
Henry.
Okay. There's your answer. Thanks for questioning.
I say the Rams.
Henry.
They're just packed on both sides of the ball.
See, I
The
think they're.
ball.
I agree with Jeff there. They're almost a
Right.
complete team too, man.
Yeah, they're really good.
Right. Well,
Jeff
let's-
got packed by balls.
Right? Does anyone have any, let's go to you, Clayton, first. Any final takes, final thoughts?
Man, final thoughts. First and foremost, we can all agree we're ready for some football.
Yes, sir.
You know, Thursday night was a teaser. That was ugly. Penalties. Yeah. Nobody liked that. So final thoughts. Don't forget to set your fantasy lineups. Send us questions tomorrow morning if you want. You know, Twitter, Facebook, message, however you want to. We'll answer. And don't be, follow us at DynastyWise_FF. Find us on Facebook. And I'm at DynastyWiseClay on Twitter.
All right, Joe, final takes or anything?
No, sir. That was basically it. Go ahead and follow me on Twitter at DynastyWise_Joe. We actually have clothing line coming out of the Dynasty Wise. We got the regular Dynasty Wise. Clayton's wearing the championships, where championships are made shirt.
Dang right.
Hey, Clay, will you stand up real quick just so they can see it?
We also have another one. It's a Tinker Stinker with the definition of it and everything on it. You can find it shortly in the Dynasty Wise store at DynastyWise.com.
All right. I want to say check us out at DynastyWise.com. That's our home site. You can read some great articles, and there's a link to our YouTube, which, again, if we get 50 people on our YouTube, we're going to do levels 3 and 4, the Death Nut Challenge. I want the 50 subscribers, but I'm not looking forward to that. Check us out on Facebook, Dynasty Wise Fantasy Football. We're also going to say be on the lookout October 1st, Houston Preeminence. Will be starting up. It's going to be Houston Sports for Houstonians. Obviously, when we do baseball, fantasy football, and MMA, that's
So hold Joe.
Toe
Joe. Joe.
Sorry, Jeff.
So, okay. So, and also we want to thank Grizzly Grease again. Thank you for sponsoring this podcast. Great company. It's a small company, so they care about the product. It's not like a mass corporation where they just got this big old line and, the quality isn't checked. This is natural, organic products for your beard. They got soap. Check out their website, grizzlygrease.com. They're also on Facebook. They have an Instagram. Again, Willie Nelson has used the product, so it's a quality product. For all you Astro fans, they have a limited edition Astros bomb container, can, whatever you want to call it. But thank you, Grizzly Grease. Please give them a like. Again, we're not gonna promote. We're a small company too, so we can't just promote something we don't like, because then you're not going to trust us and never come back. So we're going to promote what we've tried and we agree is, unless they give us like $1,000, then we'll lie to y'all. But they didn't give us $1,000.
I can't be bought.
Yeah. So Spencer, Pat, any final takes?
Just a reminder. I know we mentioned it before. I know Jeff touched base on a Houston Preeminence coming out October 1st. Houston Sports, done by Houstonians. We are super pumped. And as soon as we get links, we're getting more information every day on it. We are super excited, and man, it's going to be some good stuff. And also, we have some live events coming up. Look for those. Follow us on Facebook. You can see it up on your screen now. Follow us at DynastyWise. And we've got some great ones. I know we're going to be going back to Two Mules. I know we'll be returning to Big Daddy's. I'm sure we're going to have something at 11 Below. We also have one coming up at a couple of the breweries here locally, which we're really excited about.
Boom,
so
boom.
keep an eye out on our social media and check out our calendar as well. Back to you, Jeff.
There's really nothing more to say.
Just good luck this week with your fantasy teams, and enjoy football.
Amen to that. And as Clayton said, check the injury reports, because those game time decisions, you can win or lose by that. We'll try to keep up on our Twitter and Facebook. So check us out for that. And like I say, check your whatever channel you want to watch. But thanks, folks, for tuning in, and we'll see you Wednesday, 7:30 to 8.
Yep.
I'm really worried about Chad and this hamster situation.
Just let him have his hamster fun.
I think it was
that's
in a
like-
bottle.